Hello, everybody. We're going to do our little dev server review today. Hope everybody's doing all right. This patch I'm actually kind of pretty excited for because we're getting some pretty cool stuff. The F-15, Su-27's, the Gripen, which I actually really like how that thing flies. The Mirage 4000 as well. I think it'll be overlooked a bit, but supposedly they changed some of the loadouts on it. You said you decided to volunteer for full 12-hour days next week, probably next Saturday too. Oh God. Curious to see how the Charlie 3 performs as it fixes most of the Challenger 2 problems. Yeah, it'll be interesting. It's, if I remember right, it's got more horsepower. It's a nice buy. Thanks for the 20 stream streak. Finally have the roofing tiles in the Abrams. Oh, speaking of Abrams, I guess we can dive into those two first. So, first things first, we've got in the update for America. They are not roofing tiles. They are, if I remember right, they're ceramic. They're ceramic plates, if I'm not mistaken. They do kind of look like terracotta tiles. Like any of the SEP V2 M829A3. Hello, Carpenter. Yeah, they've got the A2 on this version. Yeah, so, wow, this one doesn't have the A3. Did they say they were going to give this thing the A3? It's just the dart round. Oh God, dart. So the HC gets the A1. SEP V2 gets the A2. A2 still melts through it in your face. Yeah, most of those top tier ones do quite a lot of work. But this thing is very heavy. I will mind you. I recommend there is a modification in here for the SEP V2. For mine protection, it just adds extra weight. I'm sure it can help against some ATGMs or things that explode under your tank, but for the most part, I would take it off. It's an extra ton of weight. But take it in a test drive. Let's get a good look at it. Give them an HE warhead so they can AMRAC T90. I will say it certainly does look nice. I really like these tanks, but the problem with this thing that you get when you add more and more armor onto them is they just get heavier and heavier. So I'm gonna turn the sound down slightly. Turn that down slightly. But like with adding all this armor on, this thing gets slow. When does the update happen? We really don't know, Sasquatch. I can bet you it will be before Christmas. That's the only thing I can bet. But we may get one dev server, we may get two. Who knows? We don't really know. But it's probably, if I'd take a guess, I'd say it's 2 weeks out. But this thing's got a good armor package on it. It has pretty darn good thermals, which is not something you normally get on a lot of the American stuff. I believe they are Gen 3s. So you also get a commander sight, which also has Gen 3s. So that's a nice change. Also driver thermals. I guess I don't know if many people who play in driver view, but I guess driver thermals would be nice. But the devs on the dev blog for this thing recommended you play it at range. I would tend to probably agree. You have a lot of heat protection. You have a ton of chemical round protection on the sides of this, but not much, sadly not much kinetic round protection, unlike the Russian tanks. So that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Might help you with the occasional AGGM. But no, I think this is... I don't really know if this thing is an upgrade or not. The crows up top, I will say the number one most useful thing on this is going to be that remote operated weapon system. That's a crow's system right there. The crows up top with the commander's sight will be the most useful addition to this vehicle over the M1A2 SEP. Because your normal sight, if I remember correctly, is your commander's sight is right here. This SEP V2 is going to be able to peek a lot more easily with this this thing. So make sure to utilize this. That's going to be a nice addition. But that's the main advantage you have with this thing over the previous vehicle. We check the rounds. Yeah, it's still A2. But yeah, you're going to be a lot heavier. 66.1 tons versus 62 tons. So it adds about 5 tons worth of weight, which is quite a bit. But you still have some decent amount of reverse. It is pretty nice looking. I do like it a lot. I certainly like the look of it. Next up, we have the M1A1 Clickbait, which is basically a premium version of the M1A1 HC in the tree. The main thing about this, I believe, is it gets the IR Dazzler, which is basically meant to disrupt IR guided missiles, if I remember right. Premium HC doesn't get a dozer blade. So this one gets a dozer blade. The premium one does not. A really minor thing. My favorite part about this thing is the lawn chair. I'm not gonna lie, I saw the lawn chair and I kind of just instantly bought it. It was a terrible idea, but I wanted it. As far as rounds, you get the M829A1, and it's a 120 mil Abrams. If you've played Abrams before, you kind of know what to expect. Good mobility. Okay armor. Armor with some like notable weak spots. Looks like Gen 2 thermals, Gen 2 or Gen 1, one or the other. And you have no independent commander sight. It's Gen 1. Okay. How's the zoom? Pretty good zoom. Not sure the exact numbers on the zoom, but they're pretty good. I said, like, if you've played with an Abrams before, you kind of know what to expect. And you get your lawn chair up top. Unfortunately, you cannot put anything in the lawn chair, which makes me sad. Unless if they added that. But for 11.3, I am torn. If you get it down tier, this thing will do good. But at 11.3, you're going to get up tiered a lot. You're going to either get up tiered to 11.7 or you're going to get up tiered to 12.3. And unfortunately, most, if not all, the Russian players at that BR are going to have full lineups and you're not. You're not going to have a full lineup because of the prevalence of premiums. It will be nice if you have an M1A1 AIM. You want to have an extra backup. And it's really, yeah, it's really only worth purchasing if you're at that BR already. I'm going to be at that BR very shortly, so I figured I might as well just get it now. Knowing the performance of American teams at this rank 7 and rank 8, I do not expect great things. curb your enthusiasm is my main thing that I'm going to add there. It will be funny. It will be a meme, but it is not going to be a great experience. Let me actually see if we can put anything in the chair or not. No, we cannot, sadly. You can just put objects, phase them through the MR. Okay, I hope they fix that. American win rate will go through the floor. It will. It really will, honestly. Next up, we have USS's Roanoke, which 6-inch dual-purpose guns, and I think HEVT shells for those guns. Yes, you do. You do get HEVT shells for those guns. Should be decent for dealing with aircraft, but I really can't comment much on this. I don't play naval. But it'll be an HE spammer. That's for sure. So, could be interesting. Fires 12 rounds per minute. Rate of fire isn't great, but yeah. And then next up, we have the big thing for this update, which is the F-15. So, one thing to note about this F-15 is, and you guys may have heard, some of the other F-15s in the trees have got better ordnance options as far as air-to-air goes. That is very much true. This thing, as far as air-to-air goes, you only get AIM-9Ls, AIM-7Ms, or AIM-9Ms. However, with that being said, these are very good ordnance options. And this thing, if it stays at 12.3, it's still going to dominate pretty well. Like, a thing about the F-15 over the F-16 is that with the AIM-9Ms, you can... Those things are really scary with this, and I'll tell you why. Because when you're going like Mach 1.5 and you launch a AIM-9M, you can reach out and touch people at quite a long range. So, you can be slinging those AIM-9Ms pretty easily, and you're just going to basically just run from the battle. You're really going to use your speed with this thing. This thing is insanely fast. Like this thing, once it hits Mach, it can go vertical and hit like 10 kilometers in basically no time. Not sure where that one went. Play like a Phantom? Exactly. Play this thing like a Phantom. Do not try to pull extreme maneuvers with it. You will rip your wings. On the dev server, it was worse the other day, but you will rip your wings if you try to go too crazy with it. This one also, if you want to do CAS against ground targets, you do get GBU-8s, which are an option. You can carry those on the wing pylons. This thing, I will warn you, this thing burns through fuel. If you can see it in the upper left corner now, this thing eats through fuel. So I would definitely be bringing either one external fuel tank and 20 minutes of fuel, or just 30 minutes of fuel. So, unless if you plan on not afterburning. But this thing just goes insanely fast. It'd kind of be a waste not to. Yeah, it's really fast. It is quite a bit thirsty for fuel. But overall, it's a pretty fun plane to fly. Keep it in a straight line, you'll be happy. Don't try to pull any crazy maneuvers with it. If you're turning in a direction, you don't want to be doing 30. You don't want to be like corkscrewing or anything with it. If you corkscrew with this thing going at speed, you will rip your wings, guaranteed. Like, I don't know if I could do it right now. It should rip my wings. Yep, there you go. As soon as you put in any rudder input, rings are gone. So try to keep it stable. Don't try to go crazy with it. It is not going to handle like the flanker. Well, it's also not supposed to be pulling 12 Gs. It's not a like it was. I was pulling 11 Gs there, fine. Like the thing is it's not going to turn like crazy. It's not like the 16 where it won't rip its own wings. But like the main advantage of the 15 is its speed. But we also have the Leopard 2A7V, which is very blue. It's not textured yet. Which I've been told is supposed to fix some lower front plate armor issues with the previous one. I really don't play the Leopards. I don't really know a huge amount about them. I can see this as an upgrade overall compared to say the 2A6. So it's a 2A7 at the same BR as the 2A6. So straight up upgrade. I think the optics are better as well. I should leave it blue. I wonder if we'll get a user camo for that. Optics are really good. Like, I'm talking... These are both Gen 3s. 100%. Look at that clarity. First round, you get DM53. Which is good. Also get HEVT for... hitting... hitting air targets. The only thing you need to know about the Leopards is to keep your ammo rack empty. HET, is it HET? Is it time fuse? Oh, it is time fuse. Yeah, it's HETF. Take that back. What the fuck is, what is this skin? This skin is non-textured Leopard 2A7. It doesn't have textures yet. Again, it's early dev server things. So, I think overall, if you played the 2A6s, you'll probably like this. You'll probably like this vehicle. With that tank. I can imagine it'll be pretty decent. Germany is also getting the Tornado IDS, which is basically just going to be a base grinder. You get bombs and you get 2 AIM-9Ls. That's it. You're going to be bombing bases exclusively in this thing. It, from what I've heard, it is basically the event vehicle. Except you don't get anti-ship missiles. We're not sure if it's getting the missiles or not. As of right now, they don't have the missiles. But this will be a good, consistent grinder. If you're looking to grind out the German tree, I can recommend this as a tree grinder. I cannot recommend it for anything else. It will be good for getting you through the tree, but it will, from everything I've heard from people who have played Tornadoes, it will not be fun. Yep. Tornadoes not much fun except in Sim. Yep. So next up, we move on to USSR. We have the T90M, which, if I'm going to be honest to give my real thoughts here, I think this is, it's not really it's not, definitely not an upgrade from the T80 BVM. I think it is more of a side grade and a slight downgrade, mainly in the mobility department. Also, the reload, from everything from what I've heard, is slightly slower. Reload is slightly slower. The reverse speed is absolutely atrocious It's 2.6 miles per hour reverse speed. We're talking like early British tank reverse speeds. At least the BVM gets like 3 times that speed. The 90M does get relic bags on the side of it and relic armor. Ammo rank is worse than the T-72/T-90s. Yeah. But you do get a SPA liner, which I don't know the exact details of. There's been some things going around about it, so look into that if you will. But I don't like the T-90AM and T-90MS are much better looking. Yeah, I don't really like this thing much either. They did say they were going to be adding SPA liners to other tanks. Optics are pretty good. But you definitely have a slower, you're slower going, you're pretty much slower in mobility all around. Your reload is a little bit worse. Honestly, I think this is a slight downgrade over the BVM. But it is another top tier bias tank that you can take with your top tier Russian lineup. So, more things to add to the tree. You can see you got the relic bags on the side. USSR gets stock relic armor? I do not think so. It does not get the relic bags on the side stock. Let me remove the modification and see what it turns into. All right. Modifications. Additional ERA kit. So when we remove the ERA kit, it looks like this. So you do get relic on the front plate, but if you're shooting this part of a Russian tank, you're doing it wrong anyways. You do get some relic ERA on the sides, but it is not the relic bags. So it's a little bit less funky to have to deal with. Yeah, you either go lower down here, or you go a little bit higher and you shoot right here in the optic, right there. But still done with stock heat FS. I thought there were considerations to maybe getting rid of the heat round stock at higher tiers. I think that would be a nice idea, would be to get rid of, maybe give people stock dart rounds. It would be nice for sure. Because the stock grind is very, very painful. But how they get you with G. Anyways, on to the next thing. This plane is probably going to be one of my favorites from the patch. This is the Su-27, comes in at the line below the Su-17, and it comes below the Su-17's. So if you don't have this line right now, go ahead and get it. So that way you could be ready to grab it. As far as modifications go, you're going to be your standard. You're going to be your R-73s, R-27Ts, R-27Rs, ETs, and ERs. ERs will be the very last thing you get for this. Thank you, Guile. Okay, there we go. That's now off my face. But there are a few limitations as far as making loadouts. And I do want to point this out so people don't get the wrong idea. The only place that you can put the ETs or the R-27Ts, you can only carry 2. Which I think was a very smart decision, because if you were able to carry more than 2, it would be absolutely atrocious. You can only carry 2 ETs or Ts. But you can carry up to 6 ERs. However, I really don't I don't think you should be carrying more than 4 ERs. Like, realistically, in an ARB match, uh, there's so few instances where I could say it would be worthwhile to carry 4 ERs, unless you're going to sit at space, but you're going to get smacked by somebody else with an ER. So, like, you really don't need 6 ERs. So I would either say carry the R-73s on the wings or carry an ET. You want to be able to carry 13 of them, please? R-27 ETs? No. But this is probably, I would either run, go ahead and favorite. I would either be running this loadout or the ET loadout below. However, I will note this thing handles really nicely. It is a beast. It can pull some crazy maneuvers. It is not nearly as fast as the F-15, but it is really fun to fly around in. I quite like it. Once we get up some speed, start showing it off a little bit, but it will nose up really quickly, and it's quite good for doing some funky maneuvers. I don't know the exact process to do a Cobra, but you could probably do it in this. Probably. But this thing pulls like crazy. Yeah, it's like, it pulls really well. And I may die here. Yep, I'm gonna die here. But you can still kill yourself. But if you're going into a dogfight, you should be able to do some crazy dodges. Doesn't do the howl unless someone else is in it. Yeah, you only hear it playing against other people. Which a little bit later, once we're done with the full review, we'll go and take this into some matches. Very hard to fly backwards. It is. But like, you could pull some crazy maneuvers. This thing at low speeds. Do you continue for the Fulcrum or this? But I'm gonna be honest. I think this thing is gonna be a lot of fun. The Fulcrum was also fun, but this thing has got so much more potential at the top end. I have heard complaints about the radar not being as good as the 29 SMTs. This I would take over the normal MiG-29 at 12.0 any day of the week. But you get 90 countermeasures, which I believe is better than the 60 you'd find on a on the SMT. But like, you can pull these and then rate fight with somebody and turn pretty damn tightly. Even with full load on everything. Basically a full weapons load. And you can hold this pretty easily. Rate fight a Falcon. We'll have to test that at some point. I do not think this will be able to beat a Falcon, but like, holy crap, it's got some crazy nose authority. This thing has awesome nose authority at low speeds. Whereas the 15 is more of a high-speed fighter, this is a low-speed fighter. This thing will turn like crazy. Still so little cannon rounds. That's typical for the 30 mils for the Russians. But you can carry 6 R-73s on the wings, so... And then the ERs. But this is a fun plane to just fly around in. Although my favorite plane to fly around in this patch has got to be the Gripen. The 39. Got good cast. This thing has basically no cast. We'll take a look at the... Oh, well, I'm dead. Goodbye. It hung a little bit there. All right. Let's look at the secondary weapons. So for the secondary weapons, you get no guided ordnance whatsoever. None. So really not good ground ordnance options. It's all going to be dumb bombs, and the maximum weight of these dumb bombs is 500 kilograms. You'd be better off with the MiG-29 SMT. Whereas the SMT gets 2 KH-29s or the CAP 500s. You'd be better off with those. Great Britain. Next up. Boat. The Orion class. I know nothing about this ship, so it's boat. Boat. Here we have the premium Challenger 2 OES. Please, for the love of God, do not buy this thing. I beg you, please do not buy this thing. This thing is absolutely... it is the same weight as the TES. It is so heavy. This thing is just painfully heavy. It's actually on the stat card, on this stat card. Now, don't get me wrong, this stat card will probably change. The stat card says that it weighs the same as the TES. I would imagine that weight will probably go up slightly. But it is a heavier TES. The TES was not a fun vehicle. All right. Can everybody see the speed down there? I'm going to do an acceleration test starting from right here. It has a dinner plate though. To see how fast it takes us to get, how long it takes us to get to top speed. All right, so we're going to start right about now. Pressing nothing but W. I am going to turn a little bit to stay on this road. It tops out at like 30 miles an hour. 32, 33. And this is on a paved road on level ground. Yeah, I think Can Army phrased it well. It struggles to get out of its own way. This thing is so painfully slow. The way you're supposed to play it, you have to play it backline because you can't maneuver out anywhere. This thing is fully finished as far as I know, Nova. It is not getting an engine upgrade. There was, I believe they looked to see if it got an engine upgrade, but there were no sources to back up that claim. So this is the engine it's going to be stuck with. It does not get the Leopard engine. Does it even have a reverse gear? Yeah, probably. It reverses pretty well. Almost as fast and reverses forward? Yeah, pretty much. I think you get an extra gear or two going forward. But like the guns are powerful, the optics are good. Okay, you don't even get a CITV. I swore that Pro system would have a CITV, but... And I hit the ground. I see. This is how you have to play the Challenger. In matches, this is the only way you can play the Challenger. Is it not the Crows? Wait, really? Oh, it's not the Crows. You're right. Why the fuck are we not looking through the Crows? Crows has the better optics. They may not. That change may come. Maybe. But anyways, the only way to play the Chally is to sit behind a hill and be held down. Peek out and then back up. Because your armor, your hull armor is atrocious. Your turret armor is not even that great. Okay. But this one up next is a Challenger 3P, which has 1,300 horsepower. Decent amount of horsepower on it. Let's upgrade that. Let's upgrade transmission. Let's upgrade filters. Let's see what we get. We're up to 1,500 horsepower, which is, I believe, is it the same as the 2E? It's not the same as the 2E, but it's, it has a good amount of horsepower in it. So it'll be more mobile than the other ones. And it gets an L55, which is better than the previous ones. It's the same speed as the spaded 2E. Okay. Well, that's pretty good then. Doesn't get Besh. Gets time fuse shells. I think this will be a decent addition. It's good, very good optics. Commander sight, which I believe has Gen 2 or 3, one or the other. And it does shoot DM53. After all the shit they slapped on the Chally 1 and 2, you think this thing looks naked? It does kind of, sort of. But your hull armor is still not good. I can't really comment on the turret armor. I don't know enough about these top tier British tanks. I think they did balance the reload a little bit. Yeah, this is a prototype, which means we'll probably maybe get a production version. Or a later development of this tank. So it is a bit faster. It's still a Challenger though. If you're stuck using the other Challengers, at least this will be a decent option. But it is now, the reloading rate is 7 point. Actually, let's see what it looks like with an aced crew. Tank loader. Weapon reloading, the maximum time you can get is 6 seconds. Yesterday, it was 5 seconds. So they nerfed it a little bit. So for Japan, we have another boat. This is a coastal boat. I've never heard of the thing. So is it just a US sub chaser? Yeah, I can imagine so. But not really that interesting. What's the max reload you get on the Abrams? Six seconds. Same reload as an Abrams. Dark. So this is the Type 99, which some people are saying this thing should get a laser rangefinder. I don't know about that. I haven't seen the data for myself, but this is roughly comparable to the UF-1 in the French tree. It's got a 7.5 second reload and a pretty high velocity gun. Unfortunately, it does not have the amazing mobility of the UF-1, but it's also a lot less clunky, I would say. But it is a pretty high velocity HE round. I also can't aim, which does not help. I still can't aim. Still doesn't help. That Russia moment. Let's try right there. There we go. Hit the hatch. Overall, honestly, not a great addition. And I'll tell you why this thing isn't a great addition. At least to Japan. It's not going to be used much. And you guys will be able to see why that is in just a second. Not really that. It's BR. It's BR is the problem. It's at 7.0. The only other thing in the tree that is 7.0 is the MLRS. So you're either going to be bringing up your 6.7 lineup to 7.0, or you're going to be taking it in your 7.3 lineup. And there's not really much at 7.3 either. So, like, there's just... It doesn't really fit in well with any lineup. So, I don't see this thing getting much use, personally. At least with, like, the French tree, with the UF-1. Actually, never mind. Their 7.0 stuff got moved up as well. So, that argument I was about to make there is invalid. But, like, a 7.0 derp gun really kind of just gets lumped in with other lineups. There really isn't that much at 7.0 anymore. Most of the 7.0 stuff got moved up to 7.3. Like with the heavy tanks and whatnot. Anyways. Next after that, we have the F-15J. This, in my opinion, is going to be the best F-15 in the game in this update. Purely for one reason. Because of the AAM-3s. These things can pull 40 Gs, and they are basically an AIM-9M that can pull 40 Gs. They do have less missile guidance time. They weigh a little bit more. Let's see. They have a little bit different levels of explosive mass, but as far as I can tell, at least the way they fire, they look like they perform fairly similarly to AIM-9Ms. Also, I didn't notice that there was a test option here for testing a missile. I understand that. Okay, we're not doing that because I don't feel like going through a tutorial. Guys have said that they won't add F2 yet because of its radar. I would imagine because it's a very, very advanced plane. I'll actually do a bit of a... Oh, we can go ahead and showcase it now. But basically, It has the pull of a Python 3 with the flight model of an AIM-9M. Is it in the same set, the F-15J? No. F-15J is much older than the F-2. The missile lost track. It can turn, but it can't turn that much. That rails. Missed as well. Like, they can turn, but they'll turn really fast off the rack, but they aren't going to perform like our 73's where they'll just keep turning and turning and turning. They will do that initial turn, but they can't maintain that track. They'll lose it. Like, I have to bleed so much airspeed to get up behind this guy. Drop that fuel tank. Alright, there we go. That should help it a little bit. Now we'll speed up and we'll try to overtake him. Or get up right behind him and off to the left. You had to use oil to light a fire in your fireplace because the wood was extremely wet. Yeah, that is how you burn your house down. Or we'll launch it at 1 kilometer. And there it goes. That missile really tried to pull that. But they basically perform like AIM-9Ms, essentially. But they have a little more pull on them. No, not right now, cats. But that's that for that thing. The R-73s are pretty good, but they also they keep the booster on most of the time, so they're a bit easier to track, but they do turn a bit more. But if you get them within, launch them within 1.5 kilometers, they will pretty much kill most anything. So next up, we have the VT-4B, which is a Chinese tank. I have no idea what it's based off of. I do not follow Chinese tanks. But it has an APS system. And this APS is pretty darn good. This thing goes up to 1,400 meters per second. Which, I don't know if you guys know. That means heat rounds. 905 meters per second. Some early dart rounds as well. It will intercept them. I need to find... If anything, if things are going 1,400 meters per second, it has a chance to intercept them. Can almost intercept DM-63. So... it works pretty darn well. This is probably one of the better APS systems in game. Also, this model is absolutely by no means completed because it's just painted green. That's it. There's no other detail to it. You're gonna have to shovel a foot of snow tomorrow? Oh god, that is terrible. I'm not sure the angles in the APS system. Okay. The angles, the coverage on this APS system is kind of weird. Like, even if it's like this, I think the left one will try to grab it. Yep, left one will grab it. Okay, you can kind of see the coverage zones on it right there. Each of the sides covers a little bit more than 180 degrees. It's an MBT 3000 successor, the Type 92. Okay. But pretty good optics. I think it's Gen 3s for both the gunner and the commander. So another top tier vehicle with an APS system as its gimmick. I don't play Chinese. I don't know how it goes. Let me see about the reverse. Reverse is 9 miles an hour. Not terrible for an Eastern design. Yeah, the little rooftop like thing to throw out the casings is pretty cool. We also have the J11 in the tree. Kind of surprising it doesn't have good reverse. That's typical though for most of those tanks. We have the J11, which is literally just a Chinese. It's literally just a Chinese Su-27. It's basically the same. I didn't get the random auto rental of it, but it's the same. Trust me. Italy gets Leonardo da Vinci, which is boat. That is all they have so far. Looks like an older dreadnought. So I don't know how it's going to perform. It's a premium at 6.3, which is not great tiering, but I don't know. If you're looking to try and grind out Italy, maybe this is for you. I don't play at this tier. That tier of ships sucks. It's just not fun. But nothing for army or aviation yet. But I imagine we will see something soon. For France, we get the Corbeil, which is another dreadnought, basically. At 6.3, another battleship. Same things that I said about the previous one apply. I don't know a huge amount about it. If you're looking for a premium for French blue water, I guess go for it. Thing we have for French ground is an AA. It is truck. We have truck. And we have all the boys in the truck. We have 5 guys in the cab of this truck. Like, oh my god, there are so many of them. Please help. So, mounted on the back is a 20 mil. I have not actually taken this thing out in a test drive at all. You get the choice of AP belts, HE belts, or default belts. The HVAP does only 57 mils a pin. Isn't great. But, I mean, it's a 20 mil. What do you expect? The thing has pretty decent mobility. Oh my god, wow. Okay, that's really high velocity. I can see this thing being a monster. And look at the capacity of these rounds. You have like 200 round boxes. 240 round boxes. So you can fire 240 rounds before you're done. I could see this thing being pretty darn good. I would see this being better as an actual AA than like a... than like as a tank destroyer. But we'll see how fast it goes in this road. But... pretty good rails. Let's see how fast it goes. We're up to 40, 42, 43, 44, 45. We're up to 50 miles an hour. Are we going to get up to 60? 55, 56. The largeness. You're using the AMX-10D missile box as an AA? Imagine it'll get up to around 60. If you give it enough run up, it'll get up to around 60. The vertical aiming is pretty good. It can aim pretty much straight up. That card says 56. Okay, then it probably gets up to 56. The British Gripen is not there yet. But I think this will be a good AA. Really want to know what line it's going into? I could not tell you. If I had to guess, I would say, I don't know, Gripen is not the my thoughts go to the FGR2. Probably this line. This is all fighters. I would say either this line or this one maybe, but probably this line for the Gripen. Ad breaking 60. Okay. But that's it for that. For France. Thank you for letting me know bio. Because it's not telling me on OBS. Anyways, we get the Mirage 4000, which I believe had some changes to its loadouts. It did. This is new. New changes to the loadouts. Looks like we can make more loadouts. I think. All right. So now you can add. Now you can get even more Matra magics. And you can get a super on there as well. Yeah. Previously. Favorite. Previously, these top two presets were the only thing that you could do with this. You could get a total of 6 missiles max. Now they've added the option to put 2 Matra 550s or 2 Matra Magic 2s. And then you can put a Super 530 on the center pylon, apparently. So they are giving people what they wanted. Also, I believe they... somebody will have to look, but this thing does get countermeasure pods. It is still only a 530F, which is not great, but it's something. So 8 magics might be the best option. I imagine it will be. She is a big girl. Very large. But you can carry the Super 530 if you want. But I honestly probably wouldn't even bother with this thing. We'll just jettison it. But it turns very nicely. Handles really well. Thank you, RGS. Still can't tell if it's going to be a bus or not. At low speeds, it's at the Delta Wing. It handles like a big Delta Wing, basically. Thank you for the follow, Bingo. Hope you're doing all right. But this is essentially like a Gripen, but much larger, I would say. Carries a lot more. Oh. If you so much as get tickled, you'll lose all control too. Yeah, that's how it typically is with Delta Wings. Let's see how fast we can get going in a straight line. On the deck. Set it to 0. Actually losing slight bit of altitude. Guns are probably similar to previous Mirages, so if you already play them, you probably know what to expect. But yeah, no cockpit yet. Out of the new vehicles, I think the only ones with the cockpits are the American F-15 and the Gripen. Only two with cockpit. Fuel tanks, no, those aren't the fuel tanks. Those are not the external fuel tanks. Those are just the pylons. Or are those actually the model of the fuel tanks? Did they just not fill them up? I gotta check this. Very good roll rate. But your countermeasures are mounted in those pods, you see. Yeah, let's go look at the tanks. See what they look like. Secondary weapons. Let's swap these. Let's just switch to this one. Okay, so basically... yeah, so yeah, that's just the fuel tanks. How much do they carry? Let's look at how much they carry. So if you don't take the fuel tanks, the fuel tanks are basically just empty. So it mounts them on the fuel tanks. Okay, let's see how much fuel we get. Hey, they're lucky. How much fuel? 500 liters, 500 liters. Wow, that is a lot of fuel, but I just want to put it in perspective of just how big this plane is. You can probably take those two fuel tanks and like... I don't know. Some people will have to figure out if it's even worth taking those fuel tanks full of fuel or not. Or if it's better to just keep the internal fuel. Remove, edit, or remove this. I don't know, so people have to do some comparisons. But you could probably do some funky things with fuel. But 20 minutes of fuel in that thing in a pretty decently burning vehicle might be fun. Anyways, on to Sweden. First up, we have the SDRV 122B Plus, which is essentially the PLSS, but I think better. Is it a 2A7 or is it? Does anybody know? It looks, or is it still a 2A6? I know it's got more armor on the sides. It has composite screens on these sides here, which are pretty good against heat rounds. What's as large as a MiG-29? The Mirage 4000. 2A5 with extra armor. Okay. But it's the M95 or round for Sweden. 589 mils a pin. Decent. It's not great thermals, but your armor kind of makes up for that. I believe these are... These are not Gen 3s. I can tell you that right now. I don't know the exact generation of them, but they're not Gen 3s. These things, as the other STRV 122s, are going to have pretty good armor for Western tanks. That's their main selling point. Gen 1 for gunner, Gen 2 for commander. Yeah, that sounds about right. This thing said will have good armor. Is their main selling point. But again, another STRV 122. Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot else. Got some more armor. Bit of heat protection. That's about it. But the big thing that most people are excited for is this thing. Gripen. Which, take a look at the loadouts it gets. It gets quite a bit of CAS options in it. Actually, never took a look at these. Order. Thank you. I don't care. I don't care. All right. Thank you. You can carry GPU 24s if you want. You can put a Lightning 2 on there and some paveways on it if you want. You can also carry RB-75s, which are TV guided missiles. So you do have some CAS options with it. And this is a user skin, by the way. This is not the default skin. The default skin is this, but there are already user skins out for it. So I decided why not. And I think this one looks pretty darn good. But this thing basically gets AIM-9Ms. It starts out with RB-74s. You can get RB-71 dogfights. I think are what? The normal RB-74 is L. Okay, so these are basically like AIM-9Ms. I do not play much Sweden Air. 71 are Sky Flashes. Okay. But you can get 6 AIM-9Ms. Pretty good. And you get a absolute boatload of countermeasures. Like you get, I think 80 by default, but you can add like 640 of them through countermeasure pods. Like you get absolute buttloads of them. You get 360 flares, 360 chaff. The cockpit model's pretty decent. I believe right there is like a fuel percentage. If I stop burning, it goes down less quickly. VTuber now? Yes. Well, I have been one since February, Alex. But this is, this plane handles really, 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 really nicely. Sweden isn't real. Out of last time you watched you was last year. Yeah. So I am. I've been enjoying it, but let's see. 9Ms. Could be fun for dogfights. Like this thing is absolutely got a killer flight model. There's actually a run that I've been really liking doing that you can do with this thing that I would never do in first person because it would be absolutely terrifying. Where's this plane? This is the JS-39A. This is the Gripen, however the heck people say it. Somebody will probably correct me. But it is a very fun plane. It has a lot of control with it. Also, can you play in the depth server? You can, yes. Whoops. Did not mean to touch the ground there. This is fine. I should probably J out, get a new plane. Oh yeah, she's not handling normally now. Nope. I managed to get myself on a horizontal flat spin somehow. This is actually impressive. I don't know how I did that. My plane was damaged, which probably didn't help. I don't know how that happened. Dev server, yeah. Volvo airframe. This is a very fun plane. Like, anybody who wants to get this plane, I can recommend it to them. It's just fun to fly. It is very fun. Let me try to do that run again and not hit the ground. But like, this thing is super fun to fly at low altitude because it is small. It is very quick to respond to controls. No, if that's a flip, DM it to me and I will get it. I'm busy flying right now, Nova. But this is tech tree. This is a tech tree vehicle. Yes. Full rudder. I'm not playing M car. Yeah, like this thing is super fun to just fly around at low altitude because it is just amazing. It has amazing handling. Like, I love this thing's handling. Whoop. And then that happens. POV here in the Ukraine Air Force. It's crazy, isn't it? I love it. Up. Tail isn't very strong, though. Does it reverse thrust? It does not. Let's see. It will most likely be the best dogfighter. Thank you. Thank you, Bob. It really, honestly, probably will be. You do not want to get in a you do not want to get in a dogfight with this thing. But it is hands down probably my favorite plane to fly. It doesn't get great long range options, but keep it low. That's not an approved maneuver. My PC setup is actually down below. If you want to take a look, if you scroll down a little bit, you will be able to see it if you're on PC. Why the fuck did Canada buy the fucking F-35 instead of that monster? I did Cobra. Oh, I did Cobra, I guess. Hello, Operator Jack. How are you doing? But Gripen's pretty fun. That's definitely probably my top pick for the most fun plane coming out this patch. It'll be great at low altitude. For Israel, we have 3 new things. This is basically one of the longer barrel paladins. Longer barrel paladins with some Israeli modifications to it. Looks pretty cool. It's got a 50 cal mounted there, 30 cal up there. As far as modifications go, it's really just made to look differently. But it is in the ground tree. The normal M109, which is the stubby one. This is the normal one you get. And then this is the Jeff. And then you also get a M113. And if you guys are asking for vehicles that I've already taken out, I will take them out again in a little bit. I just want to get through everything in the dev server. But M113A1 with it looks like a few little extra things on it. But I have played the Su-27. I think it's pretty darn good. It handles pretty well. This is the Israeli F-15. The main difference between this and the different ones, and then the other ones you'll see in the tree, is that it gets Python 3s, which can pull 40 Gs but are not flare resistant. Personally, if you ask me, if you ask for my personal opinion, and also hearing about the personal opinion from people who are Israel mains, play the AIM-9Ms or the AIM-9Ls. Don't try with the Pythons. Unless you know the person you're going up against doesn't have flares. So, I do not believe the cockpit is in this one yet. We'll take a look. It is not. Yeah, basically the Python 3s are not great. I mean, they're decent, but I would prefer the AIM-9Ms over the Python 3s. Yeah, having IRCCM versus being able to pull 40 Gs, I'm going to take the IRCCM any day. They were good 2 patches ago. Yeah, they did get a nerf, so. I have, Alex. I have played the Su-27. But, the 9Ms perform pretty well, and they, I like them. Let's see. But that's pretty much everything in the patch that we have so far. I imagine we're going to get some more stuff later. The F-15A does have a cockpit in it, which we want to take a look at that real quick. Cockpit is modeled. I have not seen the inside of a C or an A, so I can't confirm whether or not everything is the way it should be, but I've seen the cockpit of a Strike Eagle, and it looks pretty darn good. Does the Baz have alt camos? Not yet. Like at all? No. Nothing that I've seen in the patch yet has alternate camos. Did I check out the Catalina? I did not. I actually want to see if that lights up. Hold on. Give me a second. That's pretty cool. It is a nice cockpit. I think this will be a nice vehicle for sim. You don't get an HMD, but why can I not lock with the same 7? There we go. Oh, you can see right there in range. That's pretty cool. What's the bomb load on this? We'll take a look at it. The bomb load isn't... you get a lot of dumb bombs, but... the bombs are mainly going to be carried on the on the wing pylons. You're not going to get any on any of the fuel tanks. But... this is pretty much your bomb load. You're going to either get GBU 8s, 2,000-pound bombs, or a bunch of 500-pounders. So, not be carrying anything on these. How does she fly with full 3 fuel and all the missiles? Probably very slow, Nova. Probably really slow. Well, I mean, not really slow, but slower. But if you want to bomb bases, you can This actually probably would not be a terrible base bomber, if I'm going to be honest. You can carry quite a lot of bombs, and you're really, 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 really fast. But I would definitely recommend the 3 2,000 pounders. Turns like a fully... turns like a flying tank fully loaded. Probably. Anyways. That about covers it for the dev server review for the YouTube channel. So we're going to go ahead and do our little outro here. If anybody else wants to go check out some more of the content I have, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and come visit us on Twitch. We'll be viewing a lot of the stuff as the patch comes out. And when we get more information on the dev server, we'll be putting out some more info on that. So be sure to keep following us. And I will see you all hopefully next time. And have a good one. Bye.